Hello and welcome to video number 1. I'm so excited. Most people don't realize this, but 95 to 98% of our thoughts and behaviors come from the subconscious mind. This is the part of us that runs our automatic patterns. Okay? Honestly, the way someone speaks reveals a lot about the patterns that are driving their life. If you learn how to listen, you'll get it. And so today I want to show you a moment from Billie Eilish where she makes a comment during an interview, I think it is with Vogue, where they interview her at the same time every year for over 8 years, I think it is. And so she answers the same questions and they track what changed in her life. And in this moment captures a huge subconscious change in her, a huge shift. It is subtle, but once we go deeper within it, you will see why I'm so excited to share this with you. Okay, so in this interview that I watched, Billie was talking about Turing, and she made a really interesting comment that got my attention straight away. She was sharing how Turing used to make her miserable. She used to love performing but hated Turing. And she then asked her team to help make it fun for her. Right? It's a very simple comment. Turing used to make me miserable. I asked my team to help make it fun for me. On the surface, it's simple. Behind the scenes, at the level of the subconscious, that is massive. So let's unpack this pattern a little bit. What Billie did there is actually move from someone who's suffering their circumstances to actually shaping them, right? It's almost this shift from suffering to empowerment, right? Or from victim, if you want, to empower. That perhaps is a better contrast. She went from someone who maybe thought that life was happening to her to someone who said, I get to influence, or I have the opportunity or the choice to influence my experience. This is huge. This is very, very important. This is the moment when someone steps out from subconscious helplessness. Very cool. And what's interesting is that most people don't realize that they are doing this. On day-to-day language, it may sound like when people say, or you ask them, how's work? And then they may reply something like, oh, just going through the motions, same old, same old. What does that tell you? It tells you that they don't think they can change anything about their work or the work environment that they may not be enjoying. So they're just going through the motions. They are in that state, the same state that Billie Eilish was when she was miserable Turing, right? On a different stage, same pattern. We're all the same. We're not that different. News alert. You are not, so unique. Neither am I. We are unique, but we share a lot of these patterns. They are mostly universal, okay? The circumstances are different, but you strip them down and we all tend to have this on some level, and that's what I wanted to do this channel, just start highlighting the things, okay? So let's look a bit at the explanation. How does this happen? Or how do we become this way? Well, when you grow up, especially because a lot of these patterns form in childhood, And if you're in an environment where you grow up with pressure or chaos, maybe a lot going on, and in an environment where you are constantly being watched or judged, or where responsibility doesn't feel empowering, it actually feels dangerous, because responsibility means two things: choices and consequence. And if you're being blamed for the choices that you make, or for making the wrong choices mostly, your subconscious learns that it's safer to make no choice at all, right? So in the case of Billie, we might say, well, she grew up, I don't really know a lot of her early story, but it would be fair to say that she probably, because she's so young and successful, she must have grown up in an environment where people were watching and trying to help make her who she is. Or maybe it doesn't even need to be a child star situation. It may be growing up with very strict parents or teachers or people in a place of authority that expect a lot from you and judge you when you make a mistake. So the subconscious starts to tag that as being dangerous. And because we are wired for safety, we then decide on some level that it's safer to make no choice at all, right? It's kind of like start to become more disempowered. And that's how we end up in that place where we are disempowered. We give away that choice because we don't want it. It doesn't feel good in our body. So we go into places where we just think, okay, I guess this is how it is. I just have to get through this and I'll be okay. Where we just feel like we don't want control over things. That's also part of it. It's got to do with being in control and not wanting that because of this fear of making the wrong choice or being judged for it. So this pattern that, let's say, Billie lived with for a long time or for a few years, our touring wasn't just tiring or exhausting, but it just felt like something that she couldn't control. That's kind of like what started to show up for her. But then that moment where she said, you know what? Help me to make touring fun for me. That's the moment that she stepped out of that helplessness and she said, come on, team, let's make this fun. That's her taking charge of life, reclaiming her agency over her life, stepping out of that helplessness towards empowerment. And so that's really what empowerment looks like. Clearly, she wasn't lacking motivation because she seemed like a very driven person. She kept her music, she kept her career going. She didn't lack discipline, otherwise she wouldn't have kept her career going. But she maybe was lacking awareness that she is allowed to shape her own experience, that she can take charge of her life. Okay? And that is what I want for you. The biggest thing that I want you to take away from this is that if you feel overwhelmed by life, maybe, that you feel or stuck, like things are happening to you because life is so busy, so chaotic, it's maybe hard at times. It might not be really because life is too hard. It may be because your subconscious hasn't really noticed that it actually has the power to change. Your life starts to shift the moment you stop suffering your circumstances and start shaping them. Of course, many of us are never going to go on a world tour, But that doesn't mean that life is less overwhelming, perhaps, or that we may be suffering through things that we can actually control, that we don't need to just suffer, but we may be able to change something to make it a bit more fun, to make it a bit softer on our nervous system, to make us feel more empowered somehow. It may be, especially for us women, sometimes we're married and have kids and work full time and have to take care of a lot of the things in the household. It may be, I don't know, involving your partner and children in some of it to keep it more lighter for you. It may be that instead of, I don't know, having to rush through work and sports and coming home and making dinner and all of that, maybe the one day a week you get takeout, right? It obviously doesn't need to be at the level of a world tour that is making you miserable. But if there are circumstances in your life that make you feel like you're just suffering through it, remember that you have the power to change that. What? How? Maybe by starting to see how you see yourself, your level of agency over your life, and changing if it doesn't support the life that you want to have. Okay? All right, I think I'm going to leave it at that for today. For now, it's only video 1. But if you want to understand your own patterns, your own automatic subconscious patterns, the ones that shape 95 to 98% of your decisions, please subscribe to this channel. I break down subconscious behaviors in a way that helps you see yourself more clearly. As I said, this is not for you to then go out and start telling people what their patterns are. I'm keeping this very top level. We are not diagnosing anybody. We don't know their history. I just want to show you in language how some of these patterns may show up so that you can recognize them in you. Okay, that's step number 1. Once you start to see yourself, then it's easier to change your patterns. So I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you next time. Okay.